Hey Douglas, just how close are we to reaching the monthly contract goal I set? We've only got 3 days left in the month and time is ticking. Where do we stand?
Good evening, Alfred. I apologize for the inconvenience, but I'm actually on a business trip starting today for the next 3 days.
What? What do you mean you're on a business trip?
I submitted a formal request in advance. You approved it, if you recall. I made sure all the paperwork was filed well ahead of time, and the notification went to you as well.
Approval? I don't remember giving any approval for this.
Regardless of whether you remember or not, Alfred, the request was submitted and it went through the proper channels. You signed off on it.
I told you I don't remember anything like that. If I don't remember it, it didn't happen. If I say I didn't give approval, then that's the end of it. My word is final. End of story. Now about the contracts, how close are we to meeting the quota? I'm telling you there are only 3 days left and I don't want to hear excuses.
You know, it's a little unusual to set a target this close to the end of the month, especially with only a few days remaining to hit it.
Consider it a warm-up for next month. You can think of this as your practice round, so you'll be ready to hit the ground running when next month starts. You've been here long enough, you should be used to these kinds of targets.
Before we continue, may I clarify something?
What is it now? You're already testing my patience, Douglas.
In the sales department, as far as I understand, we've never enforced individual quotas for each salesperson. Our system is built around team performance and overall department targets. That's how it's been, and that's the policy set by the company president himself. We report total contracts at the end of the month, but individual quotas? We've never done that. You've been a part of this department for a while now, so surely you're aware of this policy.
Yeah, that might have been the case up until yesterday, but things are different now. The president's away on medical leave, and while he's gone, the company's number 2, our vice president, is in charge of everything. So while the boss is out, the vice president is making decisions. And one of those decisions handed down from the top is that we're moving to individual quotas. Every salesperson is going to have to meet specific contract numbers from now on.
This is the first I've heard of this change.
Well, of course, you're hearing about it now. You weren't at work today, were you? We had a briefing this morning where this was all discussed, but since you were off on your little trip, you missed the entire thing. So yeah, no wonder this is news to you.
As I mentioned earlier, this trip was approved, Alfred. It wasn't some last-minute decision. Everything was properly documented.
I don't care. Approved or not, that doesn't change the fact that we have new targets, and if you're not meeting them, it's going to be a problem. If you haven't hit your numbers yet, you need to get back here immediately and start closing contracts. I don't care where you are or what you're doing. That's an order from me, your superior. And don't think you're getting any special treatment just because you've always been at the top of the sales leaderboard. That doesn't mean you're exempt from the rules everyone else has to follow.
I'm sorry, but as I mentioned earlier, I'm currently about 3 hours away from the office.
3 hours? Where the hell are you?
And in the next couple of days, I'll be even farther away. So it's not feasible for me to come back to the office.
What? Are you kidding me? Then turn around and start heading back here right now. I don't care where you are. Get back here immediately.
I'm afraid that's just not possible, Alfred.
Not possible? What are you talking about? This is a direct order from your superior.
Look, Alfred, I'm sorry, but I'm currently working alongside someone else and they're calling for me right now. I really need to attend to this, so I'll have to excuse myself from this conversation. Goodbye.
Douglas, wait a second. Who is this person you're working with? You're probably just out there with some junior employee from another department, right? There's no way this trip is that important. You should be prioritizing my orders, not running around with some underling. You're supposed to listen to your boss. Douglas, answer the phone! You'd better pick up the next time I call or you're gonna regret it. Do you have any idea what's gonna happen the next time you set foot in this office?
Kylie, can I talk to you for a bit?
Of course, Douglas. Hey, aren't you still on that business trip? How's it going? You must be completely wiped out by now, huh?
Yeah, you know how these trips are. It's been exhausting, but I'm pushing through. Thanks for asking, though.
I figured. So, what's up? You reaching out to talk to me about work stuff? Something going on at the company?
Yeah, exactly. I got this weird message earlier today from Alfred, the sales manager. He was going on about how there were only 3 days left in the month, and suddenly, out of nowhere, he's talking about quotas. He said something about hitting a specific number of contracts by the end of the month, and get this, he hinted that this whole quota thing will become a regular thing starting next month.
Wait, what? Quotas? That's odd. I mean, I'm not in the sales department myself, as you know, but from what I've heard from some of my colleagues, it seems like the vice president is up to something. Like he's taking advantage of the fact that the president isn't around right now, and he's just going off and doing whatever he wants. It's almost like he's using this chance to push his own agenda or something.
So that's what I thought too. I had this feeling that the VP was pulling some strings, especially with the president out on medical leave. It just feels like a power play, doesn't it?
Exactly. And you know what? Even though I'm not directly involved, I've been hearing rumors. Apparently there's more going on behind the scenes than just a push for more contracts. There's been talk in the break rooms and among some of the senior staff that the vice president is actually aiming for something bigger. Some people think he's trying to consolidate power while the president is out. If he can pull it off, he might be able to secure himself more control over the company permanently.
Man, that's exactly the vibe I'm getting. But seriously, imposing quotas right now? The company's production lines are already running at full capacity. The factory is working flat out to handle the current workload, so it doesn't even make sense to push for more contracts. If we start taking on more work without increasing production capacity, we're gonna run into major problems. It's like they haven't thought through this at all.
Yeah, that's the big issue. If they push the sales team to bring in more contracts, the factory's going to be overwhelmed. There's only so much production can handle at once. And as far as I know, there's no plan to increase capacity or hire more workers. So what's the plan here? To stretch the current workers even thinner? It's going to backfire.
Exactly. It feels like they're putting the cart before the horse here. Instead of figuring out how to expand the production side of things, they're just blindly pushing for more sales. It's frustrating, This kind of management is what leads companies into trouble. And to top it all off, Alfred, who's temporarily in charge of sales, seems to be fully on board with this new quota system. He's acting like it's the greatest idea ever, but I'm not convinced.
Alfred, huh? Isn't he the one who stepped in after the sales department head went on maternity leave?
Yeah, exactly. The department head, Mariah, is on maternity leave and she's planning on taking the full year off. So Alfred's been running things in her absence, but honestly, he's not doing a great job of it. The guy's always been a bit too eager to please the higher-ups, and now with the VP pulling the strings, he's just going along with whatever crazy ideas get thrown his way.
Well, that's not good. If Alfred is just going to go along with everything the vice president says, things could get even worse. I mean, what happens when the president comes back and finds out what's been going on? Or worse, what if the vice president actually manages to take control before the president returns? If the company's leadership keeps going in this direction, it could seriously hurt us in the long run. And with our wedding coming up, I'm a little anxious about what might happen. I don't want us to be caught in the middle of a corporate meltdown.
I totally understand your concerns, Kylie. I've been thinking the same thing. But honestly, I don't think it'll get that bad. I've actually been talking to some people in the company, including the section heads in the sales department, and they're not happy about the new quotas either. In fact, most of the team isn't planning on following through with these ridiculous demands. And I had a conversation with your dad, too, the factory manager. He's fully aware of the situation, and he's made sure that both the production and sales sides are on the same page. They're not going to let this get out of hand.
Wait, you've already talked to my dad about this? I had no idea you were coordinating with him behind the scenes. Is there something bigger happening here? Are you guys planning some kind of resistance?
I can't say too much right now, Kylie. There are some things in motion, but it's not something I can talk about yet. Just trust me when I say that we're working on it. The situation isn't as dire as it might seem, and we're not going to let the VP's crazy plans ruin everything. The people who care about this company are still here, and we're not going to let it fall apart.
That's reassuring. I guess I was starting to worry a bit too much. I mean, I trust you, Douglas, and I know you'll do whatever it takes to make sure things don't spiral out of control. It's just everything feels like it's happening so fast. And with the wedding coming up, I just wanted to make sure we're set up for the future, you know?
Yeah, I get it, and I promise you we're going to be fine. The wedding, our future together, none of this corporate nonsense is gonna derail any of that. I've got your back, and I'll make sure things stay on track.
Thanks, Douglas. I really appreciate that. You've always been so level-headed about these things. It's one of the reasons I love you.
And I love you too, Kylie. We'll get through this, just like we've handled everything else. Now I better get back to work before Alfred sends me another one of his ridiculous messages.
Hey, good morning, incompetent one. Looks like you couldn't hit your target this month, huh?
Good morning, Alfred. I don't recall doing anything to deserve being called incompetent by you. What's going on?
Well, today marks the start of a new month. From today onward, I'm going to be setting some strict performance targets. And just for you, I'll be implementing them starting now. You know why? Because you skipped the last 3 days of the month and didn't even bother to inform me about it. Those 3 days were supposed to serve as a warm-up period, but instead you just slacked off. So I'll be setting even stricter targets for you compared to everyone else in the company.
I've already explained multiple times that those 3 days were a business trip. It was fully authorized and I followed all proper procedures to get the time off. I don't understand why you keep bringing this up. Frankly, it's getting old and tiresome.
It seems you don't understand your position here. I've got the vice president backing me, who is currently the acting head of the company. If I decide to, I can fire you anytime I want. You should really keep that in mind.
I see. So what you're saying is that you and the vice president are actively trying to push me out of the company. Am I understanding that correctly?
Well, that really depends on your attitude and how you respond to this situation.
Is that so? All right then, I'll submit my resignation right now.
What? Wait, what?
I'll go ahead and hand it in during the next company-wide meeting. That way we can make it official and get everything sorted out.
Huh? Today isn't even a day for a full company meeting. What are you talking about?
Oh, didn't you hear? There's an emergency meeting happening this morning.
No one told me about this.
It was a direct order from the president.
The president? Wait, the president is back at the office?
Yes, the president returned to the office today.
Already? I thought they were on medical leave for a longer time.
Well, it seems the medical leave has been postponed. Apparently, there were some urgent matters that needed addressing before they could take time off.
Urgent matters? What does that even mean?
Well, considering the recent developments in the company, it seems the president wanted to ensure everything was under control before stepping away completely.
That's all well and good, but what does that have to do with me?
Oh, by the way, Alfred, I haven't seen you around this morning. You didn't happen to miss today's start time, did you?
What do you mean? Of course I'm here.
Really? Because it doesn't seem like you're at your desk right now.
No, I'm just handling some things. I had a few urgent matters to deal with.
Handling some things, is that what you call it? Seems more like you're trying to avoid your responsibilities.
I'm not avoiding anything. Look, this is all just a misunderstanding.
A misunderstanding, huh? It's funny how you always seem to have an excuse ready when things don't go your way.
Excuse? I'm not making excuses.
You're being unreasonable, Alfred.
Unreasonable? You think I'm the unreasonable one here? You were absent without a word for 3 days. Do you understand how that affects the entire team? We rely on each other, and your lack of communication puts everyone in a tough spot.
Listen, I had my trip approved and I did everything by the book. I don't see how this is my fault.
Oh, come on! You're really gonna stand there and tell me that? We both know the company has expectations and you failed to meet them. You should be taking this seriously.
Taking it seriously? You're the one who's acting like a child. Just because you have some newfound authority doesn't mean you can dictate how everyone else should work.
Authority? You think I'm doing this because I enjoy it? I'm just trying to keep things running smoothly. You, on the other hand, seem to be intent on derailing everything we've worked hard for.
Derailing? Don't put that on me. You're the one who seems to be out of touch with reality if you think your threats are going to intimidate me.
You think I'm threatening you? I'm just laying out the facts. You either step up or face the consequences. It's really that simple.
Simple for you to say, but what do you know about the work I do? You're just sitting in your comfortable chair throwing around orders. It's frustrating.
Frustrating? You have no idea what frustrating means. But I guess you wouldn't know given how you've been coasting along without any real consequences so far.
Coasting along? How dare you! I've worked hard to get where I am, and I won't let you undermine my efforts with your petty games.
This is about accountability. If you want to stay in this company, you need to start acting like it. Otherwise, you might find yourself out the door sooner than you think. Hey, Douglas, what about the morning meeting?
It's already finished.
What?
Oh, I should let you know I submitted my resignation letter in front of all the employees.
You really did that?
Well, to be precise, it was a resignation request, but when I handed it to the president, he cheerfully dismissed it, saying, "What is the next president doing?"
Wait, next president?
In line with the transition of the company's top position from the vice president until yesterday, I acted accordingly. However, the president, who has returned today, didn't grant my resignation, so I will continue to be a part of this company.
Yay, what do you mean you're the next president? Isn't the next president supposed to be my uncle, the vice president?
To be exact, I'm at the stage where I've been asked to be the next president after the next one. It's certain that a new president will be coming soon, but it's definitely not the current vice president.
What?
They'll be establishing a new structure once everything is settled.
A new structure? What do you mean by that? Are you saying there's going to be a major overhaul in how things are run around here?
Yes, exactly. The current management will undergo some changes, and I think there will be new roles assigned to everyone.
I can't believe this. So you're saying you're essentially in line to take over? What's going to happen to all of us in the meantime?
From what I gather, the president is keen on restructuring to make things more efficient. It sounds like we might see some significant shifts in responsibilities, and I guess you'll just have to wait and see how it all unfolds.
This is all happening so fast, it's hard to keep up. Are you ready for all of this?
Honestly, I have my reservations, but I think it's an opportunity to make a difference. Plus, with the current vice president stepping back, it feels like a chance for fresh ideas to be implemented.
You really think you can handle it?
I believe so. There's a lot at stake, and I want to make sure that the team is well supported through this transition.
I guess we'll have to see what happens next, huh? The fact that both the vice president and I are under house arrest is absolutely unbelievable! Why is this happening?
Do you really not have any idea?
What are you talking about?
I'm referring to the former sales manager who left the company 6 months ago after being held responsible for a massive loss.
Huh?
And the former sales assistant manager who was demoted and had his salary cut 3 months ago for losing a contract with a major client and was subsequently transferred to the E-Town sales office.
Wait, what?
You genuinely don't remember anything about the treatment of these 2 individuals?
What are you saying?
If you still think no one has figured it out, I can only say you have quite a delusional mind.
What are you suddenly talking about?
In reality, both of these situations stem from your mistakes, right? You cried to your uncle, the vice president, and successfully pinned the blame on both the former manager and the former assistant manager, securing the vacant manager position for yourself. Meanwhile, your uncle was preparing to set you up as the manager to finally take down the president, who's been a thorn in his side for a long time. Then the news came that the president was going into medical treatment.
What?
Your plan was to seize control of the company by acquiring a large number of new contracts and expanding the business. You thought that by building up your achievements as a manager, you could force the president into retirement and solidify your position. Alfred, you imposed stringent sales quotas on your subordinates in the sales department just as you were told.
You're spouting completely unfounded accusations. If you keep dragging my uncle and me into this, I will sue you.
If you can, go ahead.
What?
I was on a business trip accompanying the president to directly meet with the former manager and the former assistant manager.
What?
There were many employees who were already on their side, and evidence of their innocence has been steadily gathering. All I needed to do was confirm the earlier conjectures and ask how they wished to proceed, and the former manager stated that he is already working in a different company and has no intention of returning. The former assistant manager expressed a desire to be reinstated to his previous position and salary, but they both share a common wish to sue you and the vice president for damages.
Sue for damages?
Regarding that, the president is preparing a lawyer for both of them.
A lawyer is getting involved?
The disciplinary actions from the company are a separate issue altogether.
What?
I believe you will receive further communication regarding this, so it would be wise not to take any unnecessary actions and simply wait patiently.
Are you serious? This definitely means I'm going to get fired.
You really ought to start connecting the dots, Alfred. This situation doesn't look good for you or the vice president. The board will be taking a closer look at everything that has happened over the past several months. The two of you have created a mess that's now come back to bite you.
So you're saying it's all over for me?
You've been in a position of power, but that power has also brought you a lot of scrutiny. It's not just your actions, the implications of those actions have put a spotlight on both you and the vice president. The way you've handled the sales quotas and shifted blame is creating an environment of distrust among the staff. People are starting to talk.
I can't believe this is happening. I thought I was doing what was best for the company, pushing us forward. It seems like every step I took to improve things is now being twisted against me.
Yes, well, that's what happens when you prioritize your interests over the company's welfare. It's become quite clear that you were more focused on your ambitions rather than fostering a healthy workplace culture. That's going to come back to haunt you.
So what do you suggest I do? Is there any way I can salvage this situation?
I'd say you just sit back and stay quiet while the investigation goes on, and then prepare yourself to be let go by the company and have to find yourself a new job. But I don't want to go! To sum it up, the vice president was dismissed, and Alfred faced disciplinary termination. Both of them ended up leaving the company as a result of these actions. This news spread among our relatives, leading to a declaration of estrangement from the entire family. Although they now have to work to pay off the debt incurred from the compensation claims filed against them, the harsh penalties from their previous positions have made their job searches unsuccessful. As a result, they find themselves forced to take on low-paying jobs, struggling to make ends meet. This situation has led to a life of hardship for them. In the aftermath of these events, the company decided to reevaluate its structure, appointing the factory manager as the new president. I was honored to take on the role of the president's secretary. From here, I will begin my training as a prospective future president. With a wedding planned for next year, I'm determined to focus and work hard in my new position. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Linda, I'm going to go where you are now, so tell me your address. If you don't tell me quick, then my sister is going to come for me. You know that I don't like my sister, right? If you don't want to put your own mother through hell, then come and save me right now. Linda! My aunt is single, but unlike my mother, her sister, 1 year younger than her, she is a completely independent adult. The two have completely opposite personalities. She came to our old house soon after that to pick up Mom and made her pack the bare necessities. They left that evening, and now my mom lives with her at her house. By the way, it takes 3 hours and a half to get from her house to me and Elio's house, so she won't be able to get here so easily, especially since she doesn't have a driver's license. My mom now lives under the watch of her sister and, forced to find a job by her, started out by handing with newspapers. My mom is a late sleeper and hates getting up early in the morning, so I know this must be really tough for her, but according to my aunt, this is just the first step in your mom overcoming her fears. Just as I expected, she sends me and Elio complaints every day through text, but me and Elio changed phone numbers and contact information on the recommendation of our aunt. Elio and I are now living a peaceful life without our mom. I didn't know things could be so simple.
Hey, Katya. Are you still enjoying that life of poverty of yours?
Good evening, Palma. First of all, I'm not in poverty and get by just fine. What makes you think that I'm in poverty? Anyways, what do you want?
Yeah. You're poor compared to my father, so there's no point in acting all tough.
Your father?
Yeah, my father. You haven't heard of him? I got divorced with my husband a few years back, and I'm now living with my parents in their house. You already know that, right? It's not the weird kind of father, all right? I don't need to do such perverted things because my family is already so rich.
Oh, yes, I've heard. I heard that you were so careless with money and so selfish that your husband lost patience with you and divorced you.
Huh? That's not how it went at all. It's just that my ex-husband couldn't keep up with my celebrity lifestyle, which means that we were meant for different worlds in the first place, and we only noticed that after we got married. I pitied him and how he had to live with me in my celebrity world when he couldn't keep up, so I let him go back to the world of the common people.
Huh? You let him go back to the world of the common people? I guess that's one way of putting things.
Huh? What are you trying to say? I know you're jealous of my celebrity lifestyle, but that's no excuse to get all salty on me, all right?
Whatever. Could you get to the point already? Why did you suddenly contact me? I don't have the time to talk nonsense with you all day, so please hurry up and tell me what you came to say.
What do you mean nonsense? But I'm your fellow mother at the kindergarten. That's a bit too mean, don't you think? Anyways, though, I agree. I should just hurry up and tell you the news because it's something that will make you fall to your knees. You won't be able to act all tough after you hear what I have to tell you.
Is that so? Hurry up and say it then.
You see, it's about your husband, Louis. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid he's mine now.
What?
You see, I've been thinking recently that my children need a father and that I need a husband myself. That's when I remembered that your husband, Louis, was such a high-spec and handsome man. Someone like that is wasted on a poor woman like you, so I decided to have him for myself. We've been going out for a few months now, and he finally said that he wanted to get married with me.
So, what you're trying to say is that my husband cheated on me with you?
I don't like how you put it that way. It makes it sound like I did something wrong. I want you to say that this is a successful celebrity marriage. Besides, it's not cheating because I'm a better fit for him than you ever were.
I don't know what your definition of cheating is, but I'm pretty sure that that's not how the law defines it. Anyways, I don't care about any of that. Just get to your point already.
Huh? But I already did get to my point. I just wanted to come and tell you that I stole your husband from you.
Are you sure that's it? You went out of your way to tell me about this yourself, which means that you probably intend on putting an end to this soon, right?
Putting an end to this? What do you mean by that? Oh, you're talking about the alimony, right? Jesus, this is the problem with poor people like you. Your husband just got stolen from you, and the first thing you think about is the money that you're going to receive from me as an alimony? This is why I hate the common people. It's like all their emotions have been replaced with a lust for money.
Calm down, princess. It seems that you don't quite understand the situation. Please don't forget that you're the one who's in the wrong here and not me. You really shouldn't be as proud about this as you are right now.
You're so mean, Katya. It's not my fault that I was a better match for your husband, Louis, than you were. I'll forgive you for being so mean to me, though, because I'm going to consider what you just said to me as the final cries of the poor woman who just lost her husband.
Could you seriously just stop with all your nonsense? I want to get this over as fast as possible, as reading your text is honestly a pain in the rear end. What are we going to do about the alimony?
That's not a problem. My dad is going to pay for it anyway, so just hurry up and get divorced with Louis, all right?
You're going to count on your father, huh?
Yeah, so what if I count on my father to pay the alimony? What difference does it make to you? Anyways, should I give you 10,000 euros for the alimony or something? That's above the average amount for things like this, right? 10,000 euros is nothing for my father, you see.
Aren't you like 40 years old? And you're seriously saying stuff that a rich teenage girl would say?
Yeah, say whatever you want. You're just jealous your family is too poor for you to rely on your parents yourself. I mean, my father works as the department head for one of the 2 largest companies in this area. His salary increased almost 3-fold ever since he became a department head, which means that even if I'm now divorced and I'm a single mother, I don't have to worry about money even a single bit. I'm basically a celebrity, you know.
You're getting off topic again, Pelma. What makes you think I wanted to hear any part of what you just told me?
Huh?
I already got that you're very proud of being a celebrity, but I'm going to have to talk with Louis himself first and check whether what you just told me now is true. If necessary, I'm going to be hiring a lawyer after that and ask him or her to handle this for me. Please be a bit more patient, because I won't be able to get divorced with Louis just yet.
Is that so? But are you sure it's all right if you hire a lawyer? I mean, wouldn't that be a bit too expensive for someone as poor as you?
You're still saying that? Like I said, I'm not poor. I don't know why you ever started thinking that in the first place.
I mean, once you get divorced with Louis, you won't be able to maintain your current lifestyle anymore, right? Which is why I'm just so worried about you.
Is that why you've been calling me poor all this time? Because you knew that me and my husband would get divorced soon?
Yep, I've been calling you poor ever since me and Louis started going out, you see. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but it will happen, so it's the truth, right? It was so hilarious seeing you confused as to why I was calling you poor. I think it would be best if you started worrying about yourself and what's about to happen to you before worrying about other people's futures. Just remember, though, that whatever happens to you from now on is your own doing. Huh? What even is that? I'm not going to reply to a single one of your texts until I'm finished preparing. Goodbye. Come on, Katya, what is the meaning of this? Your husband Louis just came to my house. He says that you kicked him out of your house or something? I mean, I get how you don't want to share a roof with a husband who doesn't love you, but Louis is the owner of that house, isn't he? You can't just kick him out like this. You're the one who should leave with your kids. Oh, I get it. Your parents are already dead, right? Which means that you can't rely on them and have nowhere else to go. Not only that, but you're so poor that you can't even stay in a hotel or something. Fine, if that's the case, then I'll forgive you for kicking Louis out of his own home like this. But once you two get divorced and we pay you an alimony, you'll have the money to move out. I won't let you stay in the house after that, all right? By the way, Katya, were you able to hire that lawyer you said you were going to be hiring? My father is getting so impatient and keeps asking me how much the alimony is going to be. I need you to hurry up so he can pay it for me as soon as possible because my father is a busy man, you know? We're just waiting for you now. We'll be able to give you the money on the exact same day you ask it from us. Hey, when's this lawyer of yours going to come? Not only that, but why do you keep ignoring my texts? Why don't you reply at least once? I mean, it's so disrespectful how you keep ignoring my texts, even though you're just a poor woman. Hold on, what is the meaning of this? I happened to go by my dad's office today and saw you entering the building. What does someone like you have to do at a place like that? Oh, don't tell me, but are you currently in the process of trying to find a job after you get divorced? If that's the case, I'll ask to make sure that you don't get hired by his company. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you, but that lawyer of yours came today. We're going to give you that alimony you're asking from us by the end of the day, so look forward to it, all right? Katya, what in the world is the meaning of this? Yesterday, when your lawyer came and told me the amount of money we had to pay you, I tried to go and tell Dad about it since he was supposed to pay it off immediately. But when he heard your name, his face went pale and he gave a wail, locking himself in his room. After that, all he said was, "We're screwed." Just what in the world did you do to my father? Katya, what do you mean your husband Louis is just a regular employee? But I thought he was the department head of some other company or something. I also heard from him that the house I thought belonged to him actually belonged to you. I tried to make Louis pay the alimony for me since it looked like my dad wasn't going to be of any use, but even he said that it was impossible. Not only that, but for some reason my mom left my dad divorce papers she had already signed and left. Seriously, what in the world is going on here? This can't be happening. My dad's guilty of embezzlement? Is that why he started panicking and saying that we're screwed? Good morning, Palma. I was just about to contact you about that myself. Katya! Finally, you replied to my text. Hey, tell me what's going on here. What do you mean my father is guilty of embezzlement? Well, it basically means that he's been stealing money that wasn't his. Because of that, your father was fired from the company. Huh? What do you mean my father was fired? It means exactly what you think it means. The reason I was about to contact you was to explain this to you myself. What? First of all, I'll tell you who I really am to make what I'm about to tell you now as easy to understand as possible. You see, I'm an executive manager at S Corporations. What? This is going to answer the question you had yesterday as well, but you probably mistook Louis for being a department head of some company when, in reality, it was me who had that sort of position. Isn't S Corporations... Yes, it's the company your father used to work at before he got fired. I was an executive manager there, which means that I was one rank higher than your father at the company. Meaning that I was your father's boss, basically. You were my father's boss? Yes, let me continue.
You see, your father was the accounting manager at our company. One day, one of our employees noticed that ever since your father got that position, the finances of the company have been a little strange. I decided to investigate this secretly when you suddenly revealed to me that my husband Louis was cheating on me with you. That's when you gave me a hint as to who the person responsible for the company's finances being off was. You told me that your father was going to pay however much money I wanted, right?
Could it be the case that...
Yes. You see, your father, our former accounting manager, was always pretty free with his money. But ever since he was promoted to this new position, he's been spending a bit more money than one would think a person of his salary would actually be able to spend. You see, there were already plans for tens of thousands of euros from the company's finances to be used soon. We were keeping a watch on him because of that, as there was a possibility that he would attempt embezzlement again, you see.
What? You were investigating my father?
Repeating what I say word for word is a sign that you don't actually understand what's happening, you know? Make sure you read these texts I just sent you one more time carefully after our conversation. Anyways, the team that was tasked to investigate your father was able to successfully catch him trying to embezzle some more money, and he was soon fired after that.
What? So the reason that as soon as father got a promotion at his company, we were suddenly able to live a celebrity lifestyle was because...
It probably had something to do with the money he stole from the company.
But if that's the case, then what am I supposed to do now? Your husband Louis is just a regular employee and has no money, so I can't count on him. And the money that my father was supposed to give me to pay off your alimony was actually money that he stole. Who's going to pay for this alimony now?
Palma, have you ever considered working and paying it off yourself?
Huh? I'm supposed to get a job now?
Do you see any other options?
But I've never worked a day in my life.
Well, it looks like you'll just have to start.
Yeah, but...
You can't rely on anyone to pay the alimony for you, right? Which means that you'll just have to pay for it on your own.
I think I'll give Louis back to you.
Sorry, I don't want him anymore. Besides, even if you break up with Louis or something, it won't change the fact that you'll have to pay me an alimony.
Seriously? But I don't want him anymore.
If you have any questions regarding the law, then please ask my lawyer about it. Well then, I'm going to be blocking this account, so please contact me through my lawyer from now on.
Katya, wait!
Well, that was what happened. Palma's father was found guilty of embezzlement, and in exchange for settling things privately, he was asked to return all the money he stole from the company, which amounted to several tens of thousands of euros. It seems that his daughter Palma helped him out with returning this money. Unrelated to that, though, I was able to receive an alimony from both Palma and Louis. I thought that Louis would be taking custody of our children, but apparently he just one day disappeared entirely, telling one of our neighbors that he was leaving to find a new job. For some reason, it looks like Louis is currently with Palma's father somewhere, and one day, after I had almost forgotten about what happened, our office at S Corporations was suddenly just mailed his letter of resignation. According to the rumor, he had to take on a loan from the same people Palma got a loan from as well. I don't know whether that has something to do with this, but no one knows where the three of them are right now, and neither is anyone able to contact them.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.